Welcome back to the Gear4music drum channel. I'm Laurie and I'm joined by Jamie from Alesis. I'm really excited because this is a brand new Alesis kit. We all know Alesis kits, but Jamie, tell us about this one. How did it come about?
Sure. This is the Alesis Strata Prime, our brand new flagship drum kit. Everything about it is brand new. It's been redesigned from the ground up. The triggers are all brand new. The cymbals are all brand new. The active magnetic hi-hat system is brand new. The module is incredibly brand new. And the kit sounds and plays like no other kit.
So I can see from all the way over here that module looks quite exciting. Before we get to that, this is the flagship kit. It looks awesome. It's full sizes. Can you just tell us a bit about the cymbals, the pads, the frame, the kick, anything physical?
Sure thing, we'll do. We have got a nice big pad set here. They're real world sizes, just like a drummer would expect playing behind a real kit. 20 by 14 inch bass drum, nice and solid, doesn't go anywhere. 14 inch snare drum, 8, 10, 12, 14 inch toms. Easy. These drums use our patented multi-sensor technology. They are incredibly responsive and they're mesh heads as well, which is so nice to play and so quiet. The cymbals are stars on this kit. Now cymbals on electronic kits, sometimes they don't quite respond the way you'd like them to. These are absolutely extraordinary. They are all 360 degrees, so you can play them anywhere on the cymbal. They are all triple zone, that includes the hi-hat. We've got an 18-inch ride, two 16-inch crashes, and a 14-inch moving hi-hat. So real world sizes, but so responsive you can play them just like you would your regular cymbals. I'll give you a quick blast.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll get into that in a minute. I mean, to look at, I want to play them. They're the same size as my acoustic cymbals. I've got two big crashes, nice big ride. I really like that the hi-hat responds to the bell and the choking, so you can do that.
Yeah, like a swing band drum.
Yeah.
Go. And that's just with your hand, my foot's off the pedal. Techniques like that are just not normally available in electronic kits. You're really at home here.
Yeah, and I noticed you were crashing, you were choking here, and you can play all around like you could on an acoustic cymbal. You just tell us a little bit actually about this texture. What's that about?
You know what? It feels nice to play.
Yeah.
I know that it's different, it's new, it looks like a real cymbal, it looks like it's been lathed, but they are so responsive. That's the thing you really notice when you sit behind this kit, that you can just gently tap them anywhere and they respond perfectly.
Brilliant. So along with these like great cymbals like my acoustic kit, you've got the size of the toms that you've gone through. So physically this feels like my kit. So
it does, yeah.
Pretty cool. So we've done the cymbals and we've done a bit on the hi-hat, but I can see a light under your hi-hat stand there.
Yeah.
What's that?
That is an active magnetic hi-hat system. The power is supplied by the module. It's technology which nobody else has, nobody else has used for hi-hats anyway. So it just tracks the hi-hat movement, it tracks the pedal position perfectly, and you can use any hi-hat stand you like. There's a setup wizard in the module. It responds absolutely fantastically. I'll give you a quick blast.
Nice. I was going to ask foot splashes.
There it is.
Right at the end, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Cool. So that's a completely new thing for Alesis.
It is, absolutely, or for anybody as far as we're aware. Nobody uses an active magnetic hi-hat system for measuring or for monitoring the movement of the hi-hat stand.
Cool. Well, that's really exciting. So that's the pads, that's the cymbals, that's the frame, that's everything physical. I'm a drummer, I'm playing, but let's get to the exciting stuff. I'm really excited about the module.
Yes, this module sounds absolutely incredible. Sounds like no other drum kit module out there. It gives you the full power of a desktop VST system right at your fingertips without having to leave your drum stool. But to truly appreciate the power, we're going to have to take a deep dive.
Let's do it. So we're here behind the module. Jamie, this looks incredible. Please talk us through it.
Sure thing. This is the Alesis Strata Prime module. You can see it's got a lush, big 10.1-inch touchscreen. That's as big as an iPad, just the screen. This is powerful enough to run a full desktop VST. So this has got a full one-to-one sound engine of BFD loaded in. So what that means is that you've got all of those samples, all of those audio stems, all of those mic positions from a full BFD sound set loaded into this module. And therefore, it sounds absolutely incredible. You've got the best drums, the best microphones, the best studios, possibly the best drummers, couldn't comment, but just fantastic sound quality, unmatched by any other electronic drum kit in the market. Sounds amazing. And because you've got a nice big touch screen, it's super easy to get around. So it sounds intimidating, but it's not. It's really intuitive. It's really easy to make the edits that you want, get the sound you want, and then just start drumming.
Well, I'm excited to dive in. Should we go through the different pages here?
Absolutely.
Or do you want to talk about the back of the module? Where do we even begin with the module
Well,
like this?
indeed, absolutely. So let's start with the home screen. This is the screen you see when you switch it on. This is where you get to select your drum kits. So remember, we've got 440 kit pieces. They are arranged into 75 preset drum kits. Really easy. You just turn the wheel, or you can just flick the screen to browse where you want to go. If we go here, kit edit, this is where we get to see what you're playing, what the actual drum kit is. So amazing sounds, and it's really easy for you to edit your drum kits if you want to make different sounds. Remember, we spoke about the 440 kit pieces. If we tap this, we've got some browsing tools here. If we tap library, we'll see that we're divided up into 4 main libraries. These are the subsets of sounds within the module, and there's a 5th one here, which is user. So you can bring in your own sounds there and put them in your user folder. Alesis Prime Acoustic. So those are special drums and cymbals recorded specially for this module. Alesis Prime Electronic, those are classic electronic sounds that we brought from the Alesis Strike multipad in here. BFD Dark Farm, now that is a sound pack from BFD. BFD is a software drum library system. It's been going for about 20 years, I think, and they are world experts in making incredible drum recordings, and they make them using lots of articulations, lots of different dynamic levels, mic positions, that kind of thing. That's what BFD does, and we have a full port of the BFD engine in here. So that's why it sounds as amazing as it does. So that's how you browse your sounds. You can also browse by class. Class would be whether it's a snare drum, whether it's a tom, a cymbal, and so on. You can make your favorites here, and you can import sounds here as well. So that's the kit edit screen. Pressing this button brings you back to the main screen where you browse your drum kits. And when you're on this screen, you can make some adjustments to commonly needed parameters here. Kit volume brings the relative level of the kit volume up. Track volume is the relative level of a backing track. If you've imported a backing track here, got your transport controls there. Click volume is for the metronome. Ambience volume. Now, ambience volume is actually the levels of the overhead microphones and the room microphones. More about that later, but it's an actual stem audio adjustment, which makes it sound, you either get more room sound or you get a very, very, you bring that right down, you get a super, super tight sound. I'll show you what I mean. So if we hit the snare drum as it is, so that sound includes the overhead microphones and the room microphones. If we take that all the way down, we now just get the close mic. So that's a simple way to show what that is. And reverb volume, each kit can have a reverb effect applied to it. And if it has, you can bring that level up and down there. And the last parameter is whether you have a side stick or a rim sound assigned to here. That's the side stick. That's the click. Now, this is a nice opportunity for me to show you a bit of a demonstration as to just how responsive the snare drum is, because you've got access to that sound, that side click sound. and of course the normal snare drum, and of course the rim shot. So there you go. So in effect, it's like 3 zones, but it's already done within the module. The module is incredibly clever, and you can dial that sort of thing in as you like. That's how I've got it dialed in, so that I can play a side stick if I want to, I can play a rim shot if I want to, and I can also play the head sound if I want to as well. So that's the basics of the main screen. You can make playlists here. A playlist is like a set list. Right. You can save your changes really easily here. Talking about saving changes, we have got a 128 gigabyte hard drive in here. Loads of space. That's a lot of storage. About 40 gigabytes of that is taken up with factory content, which means you've got lots and lots of room for your own content as well. So you're not going to run out of space on this thing. So that's the kit screen. The kit selection screen. We've got the kit edit screen we've talked about. Now, kit edit, in addition to making adjustments to the drum kit, to choosing different pieces, you've also got ways that you can change the drum sound itself. So if we pick a sound here, that's our snare drum. You can change the damping, you can change the attack. Attack makes it harder sounding or a bit softer sounding. You can change the tuning. Dynamics. Dynamics is really interesting because if you leave the dynamics where it is, you get a nice full dynamic range. You can tap the drum just like you would sitting behind your favorite drum kit in a studio or at home. But if you're at a gig or a live setting, you can use the dynamics function to bring your quieter notes up a little bit, like a compressor, and that helps you to punch through a mix so that you can really dial in your performance, especially if you're live or if you're making a high energy studio track. You want to spend a bit of time there. It's a really useful function. And pan, so self-explanatory. Mics. Now, again, we're talking about the full BFD sound engine here. So you've got mics, you've got top mics and bottom mics for the snare drum, inside and outside mics for the bass drum, and you've got individual mics for everything, and you've got your room mics and your overhead mics. And this is where you can adjust the relative levels per kit piece for those microphone stems. Remember, this is not algorithms, this is not synthesis, this is brilliant mics in brilliant studios being recorded immaculately. And that's how you make those adjustments there. And then we've got some advanced tweaks, serious under the bonnet stuff, but so we don't need to look at right now, but it gives you lots of scope to really dial in your sound.
Well, first of all, that hard drive is massive, and you say you get 40 gig of internal sounds, so if people are really into the sounds, you've got loads to be getting on with already, not to mention all the mic placement and everything that you spoke about, the ambience, the reverb, pretty exciting. Tell us about putting my own sounds on there. So if anybody wants to combine their own sounds with this, or what are the options and how do you do it?
Absolutely, yeah. So you've got an option to import sounds here, and you can import standard WAV sounds by USB, either by an SD card or a thumb drive at the back. You can bring those in. They will appear as user sounds, and you can just apply those to drum zones on their own if you want to, or you can stack them up with existing sounds. There's a really useful stack feature here. So you can have your main sound, the original sound, and you can stack up to another 3 sounds, and those sounds can be built-in sounds, or they can be your sounds, or any combination. So you could stack, let's say, a snare drum with an electronic clap or something like that, and really and that's a bit of a studio trick, isn't it, to get that amazing snare drum sound. So you've got powerful stacking features, or you can just bring your own sounds in and make your own kits just with those sounds.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That's a common technique to put, it's very fashionable now to put things on top of your snare drum. I was surprised, but we can do 3 layers. So I could have a snare, my own snare, and then say a clap, as you've mentioned, but then I could also maybe put like a cymbal sound, then a bottom snare underneath. There's absolutely loads you could do with that. And is that just for the snares, like for every single pad on the kit?
Every single zone, yeah.
Every single zone?
Every single pad,
That's mad. So I could have a 3-layer hi-hat with 3-layer crash, 3-layer everything. And my kick, I could have like a nice 808 underneath it. And that's pretty cool. And just to be a bit nerdy, but like, is it just WAVs or is it MP3 and WAV? Or
it's WAV. So these are the standard WAV, stereo WAVs or mono WAVs if you want to. Standard WAV format, drop them straight in.
So that's the kit edit screen. What else is there? What's next?
Sure thing. So moving down the list of the various editing pages here. So we looked at kit edit. That's your homepage there. Mixer. Now, Mixer is where we get access to the individual stems. It's a fairly familiar Mixer layout. You've got individual levels for each kit piece, drum mics, cymbal mics, and if you tap the bass drum, then that gives you independent levels for the inside and the outside mic for the kick drum. Again, when you go to studios and the engineer records you, they commonly do both so they can blend according to what they need. Same thing for the snare drum. We have got, I just tap, there we go, top and bottom, snare top and snare bottom, relative levels. And again, I repeat myself, but these are actual audio channels of actual mic stems in actual studios. Unparalleled. You're like a producer here. You're literally diving in and producing your own drum sound. And you can apply effects to each and individual part of the drum kit, or you can apply effects to the whole drum kit mix if you want to as well. And not just any effects. We have got the Air effects range in here. That's part of our portfolio of software brands. And Air effects are world-renowned, super quality effects, and we can just tap, and I'll show you how easy it is to add one. If we just go here, we get the list of Air effects here. And when you choose one, if we choose, let's choose one at random. Let's choose this one, Tube Drive. Select a preset. So the presets are there to give you starting points, and they're pretty easy to use. You know, Crunchy, Destroyed. So you just choose one. But once you've selected your preset and you go back, then parameters relating to that effect are here, and you can dial them in and change the effect as you like. And you can add up to 3 per mic stem, and then you can add up to another 3 on the whole kit as well. So that's a huge quantity of effects.
That's loads. So it's 3 per channel, and the kick and the snare have 3 actual sends. So if I'm right in thinking, so this is the sound by itself, this is the top mic, and then this is the bottom, so I can change that alone. Gives me absolutely loads of options.
Exactly.
Then for each one I can add 3 effects
if you want to. That's right.
And then the overall arching effect.
Yep. And so that is a huge quantity of effects. And within the effects as well, if we go back to here and have another little look, let me go here and choose a different one, because there's one I want to show you. It's the EQ one. This I think is the most powerful EQ I've ever seen on any sort of drum module. So if we go back here, and then I'll show you what we get. We've got all of this. This is basically 8-band parametric EQ, and you can shape each individual element of the drum kit, or indeed the whole kit. And you've got incredible control over EQ here. So you've got all these parameters, and as we just once you've got these dots here, that tells you you've got another bank of parameters to go to have a look at. So each individual frequency band, you can adjust the Q and the gain. And just unprecedented sound shaping features that I've never seen on any drum module. And that's just one of the effects. And you can apply, as we've said, to each individual part as you like. So that is the mixer. And again, we just keep tapping back till you see the main mixer screen there. Cymbal mics, self-explanatory, each individual cymbal part. Ambience and effects. Now, we spoke about that earlier. On the main kit screen, you've got access to that. That is Ambi Mix. If we tap on that, we see the overhead levels and the room mic levels. So in addition to microphones on each kit, you've got the overheads which go over there, and then you've got room mics which go at the back. And room mics are like secret sauce as well. They just make the drums sound so realistic. You know, you don't have to have them. You can bring them out if you want to apply your own effects at your production level. But the fact that you've got access to those stems just means that the kit just sounds so realistic, and that's part of the magic of this. So that's the ambient mix setup there as well. If we go back here, we've got reverb. Now, each kit can have its own reverb applied. We've got an air stereo effect here. You can change it if you want to. And then effects, we've got other effects. This is where you apply effects to the whole drum kit mix, and you can just add them here. So that's back to our main screen. Ins and outs, we've got assignable outputs as well. So in addition to the main balanced XLR outputs, the industry standard outputs we've got there, we've also got assignable outputs. So you can send submixes or elements to those separate outputs as well if you want to. And that's really the mixer screen. So it's fairly straightforward. You know, because it's a nice big touch screen, you can easily get around. You just tap on menus, go in, make your changes, come back out. And if we come back, the next screen down that we can see is backing track.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's a backing track is just what it says it is. You can bring audio tracks in, and you can use the transport controls, or you can actually make recordings of yourself on the module, and again use the transport controls there. So that's very straightforward. Trigger edit. Now, these triggers and this kit, they are designed to work together, and they work beautifully well together. So you may or may not need to make many changes here, but you've got access to absolutely everything you want to dial in. So if you want to change the way the triggers respond, you've got full access there. There's also a couple of wizards. We like to call them wizards. One of them is the crosstalk learning wizard. It's very straightforward. You just follow the instructions, hit each drum in turn, and it's worth doing that because I've got the kit set up as we generally set these kits up, but you can set it up how you like. You know, you can have 3 drums across the top, you can put one of the longer rack bars in the middle if you want to, you can move the kit around as you want, you have the cymbals wherever you like as well. And so everybody's setup could be a bit different, and that means that 2 pads may be next to each other on one setup and they may not on another. So the Crosstalk Wizard is there to help you iron out any crosstalk that you might have, which is in many cases is inevitable because you've got drums and cymbals attached to the same rack. It's really simple. You just learn crosstalk and it tells you to hit each drum in turn, and you just go through the kit and then you've done it. You know, the other wizard we have is the hi-hat setup wizard. Now, you can use any hi-hat stand here. It's not fussy. And the hi-hat setup wizard basically just figures out what the system is at the bottom setting and the top setting. And then once you've gone through that wizard, your hi-hat is ready to use. However, if you want to change it in any way, you certainly can do that as well. If we've got, let's go here, I go hit select and then hit the hi-hat. We've got our advanced hi-hat tweaks here. So the usual tweaks are things like curve and sensitivity and so on. The velocity curve is, I mean, it's basically a linear curve is where an increase of X gives you an increase of Y in terms of how loud it gets. Other curves give you, they change the shape. So you get, as you hit harder, it gets a bit less louder or it gets a bit more louder. And you've got access to change all that as you want to as well. You can dial in how you want it to be. Same thing goes for the other settings, sensitivity of each individual zone. So you can adjust the relative sensitivities of the zones. Threshold. Threshold is set low out of the box because we want it to be sensitive and the kit is very, very capable. But if you take it to a gig and you've got a big bass stack next to you and the guy's going, no, then you might want to bring the thresholds up a bit because otherwise the wobbling stage might trigger your drum set. Again, it's there for you to use. Advanced. Now, we talked about the hi-hat. Setting the bottom and the top. This will dial in what the system decides is a closed hi-hat and an open hi-hat, and you can play with those until you're happy. You've got lots of scope to really dial in your response. The wizard will get you there, but you can change it if you want to. That's what that's all about. So the message here is that the preset settings and the wizards will get you where you need to be with the trigger settings, but if you need to change anything, all the possible parameters are there for you to change, and you can save presets and save user settings rather as well. So you could have multiple settings. You could have different settings for different environments. You might have a rehearsal setting, a recording setting, a gig setting, practice setting, that kind of thing. You can change and have lots of different types of trigger environments if you want to have that, and you just save them using the save process, and then there they are.
There's so much detail in there. Is a lot of the detail and the control on this hi-hat, is that to do with the new magnet?
Yeah, the new
Is that why we
system
can change pretty much every part of its behaviour?
I believe so. We've got a brand new proprietary hi-hat system here. So it uses an active system. It lights up to show you that it's getting power from the module. It's all done automatically. The module supplies the power, but it's an active magnetic system, which very, very accurately monitors where the hi-hat is. So that's where we can get that incredible accuracy from.
So using wizards, calibrating your hi-hat has never been as easy.
No, that's right.
Because that's often been a bit of a problem in other kits I've played, so I'm pretty excited about that, to be able to get the response I need. And you're saying you can save the behaviour as a preset, so
you can.
Different environment, different kit type, I can change how it responds.
That's right. You've got the built-in ones, built-in presets, and then you can save your own user trigger settings for each individual zone and have as many as you like and name them whatever you want, and then they're there for you to call up as you need.
Class. So there's absolutely loads of detail. It's all about the sound, not to mention, well, we've mentioned the playability, but what about future-proofing?
Yeah, this is firmware upgradable over Wi-Fi. So you put your Wi-Fi settings in and it will automatically upgrade firmware. And that's not just firmware, that will be feature upgrades, things like that. So this is future-proof, upgradable, and it's all done over the air once you've set it up. And on the subject of future-proofing, there are extra trigger inputs as well. So you've got this whole kit, as you see it, populating the trigger inputs, but there are 3 extra ones as well. So as you add more to your kit, you can add them into the Prime module.
So if you buy one of these kits, rest assured it's going to last you a long time, and you've got new libraries coming out all the time, and yeah, it's updatable by Wi-Fi, so it's modern, it's easy to use. I like the screen, as I mentioned. So there's plenty of scope for growth. If you want to add things to this kit, you can really personalize it.
That's right, you can add pads and sounds. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm really blown away by the short amount of time we've had on this kit. I can't wait to smash it out in a bit, but the amount of detail and features in there is going to be great. So, Jamie, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I'm Laurie Caldwell at Gear4music. This is Jamie from Alesis. If you'd like to know anything about any of the drum kits that we sell, please visit the Gear4music website. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.